Let's go to Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, I appreciate the level of attention that you have provided to the rebuilding of the USGS Hawaiian Volcano Observatory on Hawaii Island, as well as the dock repair at the USS Arizona. As I mentioned during your nomination hearing, both of these are very important assets to Hawaii, and I want to recognize the level of coordination that has been provided by your department in addressing these issues. I'd like to get a commitment that the department or USGS will provide me with 6-month updates on the progress in rebuilding the USGA Hawaiian Volcano Observatory.
You want an update every 6 months? I think we can certainly manage
Great.
that, Senator.
I also appreciate your focus this morning on strengthening the wildlife program, and your request for robust investment in the IG office. I couldn't agree with you more. Let me turn to another concerning issue. During this administration, news articles highlighting efforts by officials in your department to suppress, interfere with, or deny or alter science have surfaced at a steady rate. It's so pervasive that Columbia Law School has a, quote, silencing science tracker, end quote, that lists 52 instances at DOI since the 2016 election. A recent New York Times article describes how a career department official nicknamed Gox, whose personal opinion is that climate change benefits society, seized an opportunity within the Trump administration to influence science change-related matters. The article describes how Gox used his new influential position with the Deputy Secretary's office to pressure departmental scientists to include uncertainty language. In fact, uncertainty language became a term of art, questioning the impacts of climate change. Emails obtained through the Freedom of Information Act show the lengths that career staff had to go to in order to ensure that Gox's uncertainty language was included in documents. One email discussing the text of a final environmental impact statement from December 28 shows a scientific integrity officer who is charged with upholding the department's scientific integrity policy, requesting, quote, please, however, make sure that the attached uncertainty language is incorporated within the document, end quote, and that, quote, this was a requirement established with the department in 2017. In another email dated May 2019, the scientific integrity officer notes that he was, quote, starting to wonder whether our agreement, likely in reference to Gox's uncertainty language that was negotiated in 2017, is still in place, and I don't think he's in the department secretary's office, end quote, referring to Gox, and that this scientific integrity officer was trying to think of how best to test that, though, whether that agreement still was in place. It's clear from this exchange that the scientific integrity officer was wanting to abandon this agreement, but did not know if he could based on whether or not the official was still in an influential position. In last week's hearing before the Senate Interior Appropriations Subcommittee, you pointed out that the department publishes many documents that comment on climate change, and that this long-term career official has his own views, which presumably he should keep to himself. Except that in this case, Gox used his position of influence within your department to insert those views, which go against the scientific consensus on this issue, into scientific documents. You also said that you undetailed this official, but the fact is, he was in this position of influence within your department for roughly 2 years under your leadership.
That's not true.
Let me finish. This is my time.
That's
You
not
said that you will get to the bottom of what happened, whatever that means, and that you have asked to be shown what documents include the uncertainty language. And I have one example here today of a document that includes the uncertainty language that I would like to insert into the record, Madam Chair. My question to you, is it okay for a career employee in a position of influence to pressure scientists to insert biased uncertainty language into scientific documents?
Well, let me be very clear. I don't think that person has a position of influence. Science plays a critical role in our decision-making, as does the law, and I am the first secretary in decades to have a career scientist as my science advisor. I brought Bill Werkheiser from the U.S.
So I am running out of time.
He's the chief scientist, chief scientific
Could you answer my question,
integrity
please?
officer for the department.
take it you're
And our
saying it's not
scientific,
okay.
integrity claims are actually down under my administration.
So you're saying that it's not okay for anybody to be using his position, his or her position of influence, to insert uncertainty language into your scientific documents?
I didn't say
take it
that.
that you mean that.
The
that
reality
answer
is,
yes.
we discuss uncertainty in the IPC. We discuss uncertainty in virtually every climate document I get from the USGS. What GS has told me is to use best practices, which I'm completely committed to.
Which means
and ensuring.
science-based analysis. So is this uncertainty language still being used by the department?
Are you asking me if the word
When it's
uncertainty
scientifically
appears in
appropriate to
documents?
express uncertainty, I think that's scientifically based. But when it's somebody's personal view to question the facts of climate change, I think that's a whole
The
other matter.
PCC uses the word uncertainty dozens of times.
Madam Chair, I do have a few other questions for Mr.
They can be
Secretary,
included as
so
part of the
my
record.
time is up, unfortunately. I just want to make it really plain that this is not the first time that the administration's commitment to science has come into question, and so it's not just this department, but other departments. I think it's really important for us to be reassured that you base your reports on the best science that is available, not somebody's personal views.
I can assure you that I spend a lot of time with scientists to ensure that I understand the science, both the certainty and the uncertainty in it, and that I make decisions that are well-grounded in the law and well-grounded in the information that I'm provided. I am, by law, required to not make a decision that's arbitrary or capricious, and I strive to do that every day.